Again, today I'm going to talk about making what we call icon fonts. They are the way of making graphics that you can make and include into an icon or into a font suitcase. And then through programming, you can take those graphics and program them into your interface. Okay, that's what's called an icon font. There's some techniques you can use to make that, but let's look at what's on Angel first. So on Angel, what I have again is, remember last week we talked about InDesign, and I made some videos of last week of using InDesign. They're right here. The things I demoed last week are right here. There's 2 videos. You can watch them if you want to try InDesign. You don't have to use InDesign if you don't want to. You can use Word, you can use PowerPoint, whatever you want to do. You're making a presentation of your proposal. Any way that you want to do that is fine with me. I just think that something like InDesign, you can make a nicer layout than at least more, maybe, whatever. But today I'm going to talk about what's called an icon font. Again, what an icon font is a way of taking graphics, and usually they're SVG files. So there'll be SVG files, which is a scalable vector graphic, that you then include into a font suitcase, and then you can program that font suitcase onto a web page or onto an app, or wherever you can put a font, you can use it. Okay, wherever you can put a font, you can use it. And so there's a video here you can watch. It's kind of one of the first videos. Well, maybe not the first video, but it's a longer video right here. It's about almost 5 minutes long. But this was one of the first videos. This was one of the first videos I watched to learn about what an icon font is and how it's used. So this is a really good technique in interface design to be able to take graphics and put them into a font suitcase. So I'm not going to show this video, but you should watch this video when you have some time. He talks about, I just want to scrub through it if I can here. Maybe you can see some. He's the same guy who did the icons. This is not the same video, is it? Is this the same video we watched at the beginning of the semester? It's the same guy. I don't know if it's the same video. Oh, it is the same guy. So he does talk about, oh no, this is the wrong video. I'll find a better video. But he does talk about Iconfonts in that video. The app that I'm going to use to make them is right here. There's a link on there right here. But the problem is the app doesn't work in Firefox. It only works in Safari. I don't know if it works in Internet Explorer either. Here's the programming. Once you make it, here is the programming, and you can see. Here's like the examples of some icons you can make, and then here's the code right here. Remember I talked about the code, and then here's some programmings you can use to put it onto a page. See it there? Okay, so it's really easy to use these once you've made them. Okay, you can change the color of them. The advantage of using this, and one of the things I want to point out now, is that they're solid colors. They're not multiple colors. They're solid, and they have to be a complete object. And that's what I'm going to talk about making them today. So right now, if you look at the little icons that we have right here, we got a little mail icon. We got this is like a Wi-Fi icon, right? And this is kind of a bookmark icon, right? They're kind of generic color. It doesn't matter what color you make them, because in the CSS you can change the color of them. Again, though, they're solid. There's not multiple colors. It's only one color. It's one object. But just like you can change the color of your font in programming, right? Hey, I can make it any color I want in CSS, right? You can do the same thing. Sorry, this thing blew up here. Okay, let's look at how to make one. So I have given you some, and I'm going to use Illustrator. You could use Photoshop. I don't know why you would use Photoshop, because it's vector stuff. But if you want to try one of the icons, these are some icons I made of the latest interface that I've been working on. And I'm going to show you some good ones and bad ones. Let's look at a question mark one for a moment right here. I'm going to open up any one of these. I'm going to open it up in Illustrator. So I'm going to open up the one that says question mark large gold. I say open that in Illustrator. So if you look at these, oh God, this is not in the right spot. I wanted it to be in the center. Well, it's bothering me here. It should be in the center. It's not square. Let me see this one. That's not in the center either. Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. Just open one up. If you look at them, again, you'll see that here's one object together. Okay, one of the things you'll notice is that they're individual shapes. And if you look at an icon, and let's look at the web page for a moment. Here you can look at them here. You notice they're very solid individual shapes. You know, you have 3 shapes here, you have 1 shape here, you have there, but there's no multiple colors, And I did have problems with something like an X here. So trying to make something like this is very difficult in an Iconfont. And I'm not sure how they made this one. But you can't, like in Photoshop, or no, in Illustrator, if I was going to make something like this, usually I could make just a circle, right? And then I could make a little X and put it over top of it. But you can't do that with an Iconfont because you can't have 2 objects, 2 separate objects. It has to be, the whole thing needs to be one object. So I've made things like this, and what I had to do with something like this was I had to kind of cut a hole through that. So I would use the Pathfinder option, where you put an X over top of it, and then take that X and cut the hole through. You know there's a tool called Pathfinder that allows you to combine objects together. So let's try one of those. There's 3 icons in this set that have multiple objects that we're going to combine together, and then we'll make an icon font, and that's it. So we're going to make these. Let's look at the one that has more than one object in that folder I gave you. The one that has more than one object in that folder I gave you. So that question mark would be fine. Is the one that says color invert gold SVG. So let's open that one up. The one that says color invert gold SVG in Illustrator. And if I look at this one, and I look closely at it, you'll see that there's a whole bunch of extra objects. There's like 3 of them along the edge here. See, there's like, if I select it, if I zoom in real close, you'll see there's like 3 objects all on top of each other right here. That'll be a problem in the program, and I'm not sure why. Whoever made this, I didn't make it. So that would be a problem. Let's look at another one. So I'm just pointing it out. Another one that is inside there that has a problem is the there was one more. Was it delete SVG? Let me look at the delete SVG. Yeah, this one is the problem. I was just kind of pointing it out. It's the same X that you saw before. Again, if I look at it, I select it with the mouse inside of Illustrator, you'll see there's a whole bunch of separate objects in there. Okay, so that is not going to work for making Iconfont. It would be confused. It would actually make it a solid object. It would make it a solid circle. So if I was going to make this, what I would do is I would probably, and I'm going to use the white arrow right there. Not sure, yeah, why this has been like that. What I would probably do is select all the objects in this one and then combine them together. Oh, look, it looks like it's a font. See how it is right here? Is it a font? I don't know why there's, yeah. So I'm going to select all the objects in the X one. So this one's called delete SVG. I'm going to select all the objects, and in the Pathfinder option, remember I was talking about Pathfinder. Pathfinder is located under the window Pathfinder. Under the Pathfinder option, you can use the first option. It says Unite. Let's see what that does. Usually what this does under Pathfinder, again, it's under Window Pathfinder. Under Pathfinder is where you can combine objects together so they're not individual objects. And right now, if I click on this, it'll, oh, see that it lost my my circle one, so that's not going to work. Let me go and somehow we need to get this X out of here. We need to make this a separate object. Maybe if I cut it, Command X, then combined all these objects together, then paste that original one by going under Edit, Paste in Place. There we go. So again, what I'm trying to do is keep this X and combine all the other ones. So how I kept the X again was try to select it and cut it. If you cut it, it hides it or puts it in the clipboard, which is Command X. And then if I paste it, it's underneath Edit, Paste in Place. So put it right back where it was. And so what I want to do now is I'm going to use the X to cut a hole through the circle. So I'm going to use the X to cut a hole through the circle. So if I go and I select both the circle and the X, I'm going to select both the circle and the X. And I'm going to use, which one? Which minus front? That one. Okay. The problem, though, you're going to have a hole in there. That is one of the problems with the Iconfonts is you're probably going to have a hole in there. It won't be solid. It won't be solid in there. So, yes?
Did you wait till the object?
Yeah, you need to have one solid object somehow. You need to get a solid object. This is solid. I can't have two objects together. I can't have a white X over a red square. So I have to combine them somehow. They have to be together.
How do you put confidence?
Window Pathfinder. So whatever object you want to use, it has to be solid. What's going on?
We'll drop these by right now for you real quick.
I know.
Run it by and let me know.
Okay. This guy wants to have somebody make a flyer for him, and we'll talk about it. Okay, so I don't know. However you get to a solid object, I'm just pointing it out. You can't have more than one object. So whatever way you do. Most of the stuff that's in that folder is all solid objects. This one had problems. Like I said, if I look at it, it looks like there's more than one object there. This one is fine. Everything is a solid object, right? There's no, unless this white area inside here is a different object, which I don't think it is. No, see? Okay, so any one of these that I gave you would be fine. Okay, let's make an icon font. So again, however you make your objects is up to you, as long as they're saved in the SVG format. And to save an SVG inside of Illustrator is under File, Save As in Illustrator, and down here where it says Format, just make sure it's SVG. Size doesn't matter because again it's scaling, it's a vector, so it can scale to any size you want. Again, SVG is here, and save as an SVG. Right there. Okay, once it's saved as an SVG, I'm going to quit Illustrator. Whatever it takes to make it solid object is what I'm trying to say. Again, I have a whole bunch inside this folder called New Icons Jeff that I had you download. And so let's make all these into a font suitcase. To do that, again, you have to use the Safari browser. And the website I want you to go to is Iconmoon.io. Again, use Safari. It will not work in Firefox. Use Safari. This technique will not work in Firefox. Use Safari. Or I don't know about Internet Explorer. Again, it's called Iconmoon.io. Yes? What's that? Oh, my file that I told you to download didn't work on your computer? Let me see. New I have some samples you can use. Go to a new browser window. Go to rascom.com / new NEW underscore ICONS underscore JEFF dot ZIP. Saves it as a save it and then compress it. Okay, so this program or this thing, I don't know, for some reason it doesn't work in Firefox, but it works here. So again, they have a bunch of free ones for you on this website. They have a bunch of pay ones. You know, they're in the business of making money, right? And so there's a whole bunch of, you know, they get the premium package. Again, it's the same concept though. They're giving you graphics that are in a font suitcase that you program onto your interface wherever you want a font, wherever a font can be. But so again, you can see there's a whole bunch of them here. Let's just go. You don't have to go through this. Just watch. Again, there's a whole bunch of them here, and I don't know how they got different colors here, but usually it's the ones I make are solid. I don't know how they got different colored ones here. Usually change the color icon. I don't know about that. I have yet to see that, but usually they're solid like this. You can have any color you want. So. And then, of course, they have a whole icon pack. There's some free ones here and pay ones and so on. But if you want to make your own, it's called Iconmoon app right here. See the big red box in the upper right corner? Click on that. Okay, here's the app. So in this app, they start you off with a series of free ones. You can see them here. These are all the free ones right here. But if you want to import your own, like, remember I gave you a folder with a bunch of SVGs in there. Oh, SVGs? Yeah, I guess that's the word. SVG files. Okay. You'll notice in the upper corner it says Import Icons. Do you see that in the big purple corner in the upper left corner? Right? I'm going to click on that. Then I'm going to go to the folder I gave you, right? Didn't I give you a folder called New Icons, Jeff? Here they are right here. I can select all of them at the same time and import them all. So I can click on the first one, hold down the shift key, right? Click on the last one. That selects all of them in there. Again, I gave you a folder with a bunch of SVGs in it already. Select the first one, hold the shift key down, select the second one, and say choose. And this version of Icon ignores strokes. Learn how to convert strokes to fills, dismiss. Okay, so again, it's telling you there's some problems with some of them, right? Because I told you some of them were not correct. That's what it was telling me. There's some problems with them. Okay. So these ones, again, this one had more than one object, right? They're telling you can't have strokes, right? Because objects have strokes in Illustrator and stuff. So they need to be solid. This one looks like it works great. Some of these work great. Okay, again, it has taken these graphics that I made in Illustrator and it put them into an icon here. And then, now the color doesn't matter. For some reason, it put the color in, but the color can be programmed differently. Just like you would program a font color. Each one of these can be programmed differently. So I don't know, it's giving me a color palette, looks like, and something like that. Don't know. And what? So in this case, you can see them. There's a whole bunch of them here, and they're in an untitled set right here. So I can select them. I'm just selecting them by clicking on them. Once I have selected them all, you don't have to select them all. You can, after you import them, you don't have to choose all of them. You know, right now. And look, it looks like you can use a PNG and a PDF. Generate. Oh no, it says generate SVG PDF. I'm not sure what that means. But the key here is select the ones that you want, And then in the lower right corner, do you see it down here where it says generate font? Do you see where it says generate font in the lower right corner? If you click on that, it'll ask you to make a font, and it's going to make a glyph file with 19 of them. It's going to be in a true type font format, and it's going to tell you how big it's going to be. So you're making your own font suitcase. Right here, it's going to be a TTF file, and it says it has multiple colors. And then it'll show you there, and then it shows you the code right here. So after it generates, you might want to print this out because this is the number that relates to that graphic, right? Remember I showed you the programming in the thing? So once you save this, link this font suitcase up to your web page. I hit generate, it's in the lower right corner. Generate. You have one, you only have one selection. So you have. I had selected more than one, that's why I have a list of them. You might want to go back and select more than one. So again, in this window, it's showing you, once you link this font suitcase up to your web page, you can use this code right here to put it on, you put it on your interface, wherever you want. Wherever you can put a letter, a text, this graphic will show up. This is the code. Usually what I do is print this page out, then link this font suitcase to my web page. Now this isn't a programming class really, but I mean to link a font to a web interface or to a web page is quite easy to do. The code that the link that I have there is probably show you that. Yes?
Like these code numbers in like this, I'm not sure how you do this, like the source of the HTML source of the page. Like you could use source, you would see the code numbers.
So if you look at the CSS tricks here, so once you download the font, and then you need to link the font to your page using code. I don't have that code right here in front of me, but there's a way to link the font to the web page. Then it's going to be called a data. It could be called a data icon, and then the number that is there. And so here's the code right here. And then here's the link to the font family right there. See, the file's called icons right here, this one. And then here's the content. So here's the code to link it maybe right there. Yeah, I was just showing how to make it. In the programming class, they'll show you how to program the code. So these icons then can be programmed. And again, you can change the color. Yeah, there's a variety of different ways to link the font icon. You can go to Google, the same way you link a Google icon or font to your website, you can be used the same way there too. So, where was I at? Oh, where was I at? I was, not that one. No, I was in Safari, right? So once it's done making it, you can print this out. Oh, look, it even gives you the code. See how it says get code right next to it? And then here, here's the code right there for a span to put it somewhere. You can use an inline. A span is called inline because it's a code. So the span is inline. So let's say you had, you had a box, a div tag, and you wanted to put the icon here with some text next to it. Right? This is called, a span is called inline. So let's say you want to, again, you have a box, you want to put the icon here, and then some text next to it. It says, go here, whatever. Again, the code is a span in the HTML. You put the span in there. It puts the, you can see it right there. It even gives you the name. Oh, and then this needs to be in the CSS here. So it shows you the HTML, the CSS, and then there is some more information. So they even give you all the code right there. So again, you need to download it. Let's download it. So after you have all this, you see where it says download right here? I'm going to click on download, and it goes to where? My downloads folder, right? It's going to go to your downloads folder. Let's go into my downloads folder and look at that. goes to my downloads folder. In the downloads folder, here is my folder right here. And inside there, oh, they even have a demo in there. And then they have fonts. Do you see the demo right here? Here's the demo. It shows you all the way the icon will look on your page. I don't know why this one has colors and the other ones don't. Then you can change the size to see what they'll look like. And then I have to hit refresh maybe. Oh, no. Type some text to test. Oh, here we go. Type some text. What am I doing here? Type some text. Oh, that's what's just showing you size. But I guess I got to type in this code. Not sure. No, didn't work. Somehow there's a demo. And that was in the folder that it downloaded. Also in the fonts folder, you'll see you'll have all the graphics right there. So you'll notice the way that it programs the font. You can see it right here. So why does it give you all these different files? Why does it give you all these different files? Well, it's a way of making the font more universal for all the different browsers, because some browsers wouldn't take advantage of certain aspects. So usually you would program all three of these onto a web page, and if you go to probably the best place to see how to put that on there, let's just go to what is that website? Is it Font Awesome? Font Awesome is a website that has a bunch of fonts that you can use. You can use it to make Iconfonts too, I believe. And then they have the code on here on how to program it onto the page. And so you can use this. I'm not really sure. And then they have free. Oh yeah, we looked at this. Remember when at the beginning of class on how we were looking at Iconfonts. But you can make your own. I guess what I'm trying to say is you can pay, or you can download free ones, or you can make your own. I showed you how to make your own right there in Illustrator. That's what I'm trying to say. It's the same technique to put the font on your page. The CSS. I'm looking for the CSS. Oh, look, here's the animated one. Oh, look, they have animated ones too. I haven't made an animated one. And I don't know how to make multicolor ones. Again, this was called Font Awesome. Don't know. So I think this is something you should work on over the break. I don't know if you have time to do it now. You're working on something else. But, I mean, this is something you should learn how to take advantage of. Oh, you know, everybody wants things to download quickly. Everything wants to do things easily. To put graphics on your screens or in your interfaces is difficult. If you can make it into a font and be able to program it like any other font or any other letter on your interface, it would save you a lot of time and effort. And the one I used again was called, what was the app I was? Oh, I was using Safari. It wasn't working in Mac. It's called Iconmoon. That's the only one I've ever used. There were some other ones I found, but I haven't used them. And again, it gives you a folder. And let's look at, to program it, They probably have it on HTML schools. This one. And we want, what did I say, font? Where's the search? I just don't have the link to the font right now. Yeah. I'll try and find you the font link best I can. But do you see any advantage? Do you see what I was talking about? Yes? How you can make graphics and put them in your font? Okay, that's all I wanted to talk about. I don't know. You might want to try making your own suitcase. I mean, you can actually install it probably onto your, once you have it. You can install it. What's it called? I'm going to install it in the font suitcase here. Here it is. It's called Iconmoons. If I go to, oh look, see how the solid one is solid? Remember the X? This one was messed up. See how it didn't have a solid object like this one did? Remember I told you it would be solid? See how it had multiple objects? It made it just a solid moon. It's coming slowly but surely. So it's just like any other font that you could use if I'm using Illustrator. And I'm typing in some text. Let me make this bigger. You can even install it as one of your fonts inside of your program. What did I call it? Icon something? Do not in alphabetical order. Oh, it didn't show up. Did it? No. It's down below. It should show up in my list of fonts here. Oh, here it is. So we have to go to my glyphs. Glyphs. And it should show up in there. No, not showing me anything. Oh, it's still there. Where was that at? Not showing up. Okay, well maybe it doesn't show up inside of Illustrator, but you should be able to program it in your HTML as a graphic. And I've done that before, but I don't have the sample that I have here in front of me. But you understand the concept? Yes? No? Maybe?
So where do we have to download it so that it shows up in the programs, like Windows, just the way we install the fonts?
I did it there, but it wasn't working in Illustrator, so I'm not really sure. It comes in as a true type font though, but as you can see, this is a way of programming your font. So yeah, there is a TTF, but I'm not sure how to use that. But what you would do then is link these graphics to your website. I don't have the code in front of me. I'd have to go and find the code right now. And I don't know where it's at this point. I know it's there somewhere. So you link this to your website, and then you can use the code. Remember on the page I said look at the number. Remember the number, and you program the number, and then the icon shows up. Yes?
Did you link all of those files to the website?
Yes.
But you didn't cover, you haven't actually covered the process of linking?
No, I don't have the code in front of me right now. I was just showing you how to make it. I'll try and find the code for next class. If you want me to show you how to program it, I will have to go and make a demo of that. I just was going to show you how to make it. I guess I can show you how to program this again next class if you want. You can look at the, here's the, if we look at the code of this sample, I'm sure it's inside there. If I can figure out how to view source in Safari. Here we go. If you look at the demo that comes with this, if you view the source, it's going to show you how to program it on your page. Oh, it comes with a JavaScript file right here. So there's a JavaScript file that they're using there. I don't know. There's probably many different ways to program it. There's not one way of doing it. I'm sure of that. But you can see to put it on the screen, they have, well, they got some classes here. Oh, they got a CSS file here. They got 2 CSS files here, and so on. Watch the video. Well, that's the wrong video anyways. I have to change the video anyways. It's not the video I wanted anyways. So I'll find the right video, and in the video that I wanted to link up actually has how to do some of the coding and why you would do it, and has a lot more information. But this is just a technique that is being used today to add graphics to an interface in a very small and memory way. It's called an icon font. So, I don't know. That's how I was going to show.